Hi everybody, my name is Gudrun from GE Designs and happy Friday to all. Welcome to the Friday show. We're calling it Happy Friday because we're live both on Facebook and YouTube, so welcome everybody. I've seen a lot of people checking in already from all over different countries, all over the US, Canada, we have Sweden, many places in Europe as well, so thank you all for being here. I appreciate it. And of course, it's not Friday without a cocktail. Woo-hoo. Our cocktail of the day. So of course, I always think about get inspired. I get inspired when I go to the quilt shop. I go and get inspired when I go to the grocery store, which is not very often these days. But I walked in and there were these fresh peaches right in front. They're in season and they are so delicious, so I had to do a peach mojito. Very, very tasty. So the recipe goes like this, easy. Mojitos are really easy, really fresh always. So you just I chopped up a half a peach and threw in 2 wedges of lime and then just a handful of mint, which I am growing just in a container on my porch. And you can of course purchase it too at the store. And then you throw that in a glass with some rum and usually sugar, raw sugar, or sometimes you can use agave, any kind of sweetener. But instead of sweetener, I used peach schnapps. Yes, it enhances the peach flavor and it's not as sweet as liqueur or syrups. So it gives it a little bit of a fresher take on the peach flavor and I love it. So it's really not sweet at all, but so tasty. Those peaches are delicious. So cheers everybody. Just tastes like a boozy peach. Can't beat that. But it's been a fun week, a busy week. This is my 3rd live in this week since we did a test Zoom class last night. And I did a little bit of quilting. I finished my quilt that I was quilting on my embroidery machine in the hoop. And so I'm going to show you that. And we've been working on some website stuff this morning and going to implement some changes in shipping, trying to get things faster to you and kind of the shipping prices more kind of condensed and kind of like a set prices. So like, what is it called? No, my brain is not working. What's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. It'll come to me. Sorry, everybody. It's Friday and it's been busy. I've been running up until I sat down here. So, but we're trying to make it better for you, working that you get the product faster, more reliable, and things like that. So let's start with showing you my quilt. I'm really excited about this potential. You know, I've told you that I'm really new to quilting or to embroidery, absolutely at all, because this new machine, my Solaris, Baby Lock Solaris, is completely my first embroidery machine. And so I haven't even tested that yet, but I have gotten some reinforcements. Yes, I've talked to some friends that are experts in that and have ordered supplies, some thread and some stabilizers and stuff. So I'm going to be playing with that too. And I'll show you what I'm playing with, because I know there's more people in this boat of mine that maybe have an embroidery machine and haven't done much with it or have been thinking about it. So it's a fun process and all the opportunities and the possibilities. So I wanted to try edge-to-edge quilting in the hoop because I've heard so much about it, and I thought this would be a great kind of way to use your embroidery machine as a quilting machine. Of course, you're just working with hoops instead of a long arm, and but I think it's a really great option to have if you're not comfortable with free motion and maybe you have some issues with joints and shoulders and stuff and can't maneuver bigger quilts. I did the crib size hope. So I have, with the Solaris comes the biggest embroidery frame that is out there, but you can totally do this with smaller frames. You would just, of course, you embroider kind of or stitch out each section, and then you have to move the frame. And then you have to just kind of line things back up, but my machine has really great tools to do that, so they worked out really well. So I started looking for, edge-to-edge quilting designs for embroidery machines, and at first I wasn't finding much, but I found a designer, Amelie Scott, and she has written a book on that kind of technique and then has quite a few kind of libraries of stitches. And so I got a couple of hers just to try out. And so this was one of them that I used, and I just wanted something simple to start with. So just some circles. So it's kind of loops and circles. And so as I sectioned this out, let me show you how so the first one, of course, I thought it was stitching one direction and it started stitching the other direction. So you can kind of see, yeah, so here is the section that I was able to stitch. Yeah, here. And then it accidentally started here and ended on the end, but I wanted it the other way around. So I had to kind of just wiggle it. So I started here the next time, and then so the design flipped going this way. But you know, this was my test quilt, and it really doesn't matter. So this intersection is not very pretty here. But then it went better, and I was able to kind of match it out all the way. The one mistake I made is my backing and batting wasn't quite wide enough on the sides, so that you need that extra space of backing and batting to be able to put it inside the hoop. So I had to, there was a big kind of space here on the edge of the whole quilt that, you know, was 2 to 3 inches. So that was a little too much for me. So I just went in with my free motion foot and did a little bit of kind of wiggles around the edge after the whole thing. But I did it in sections one way, and then going back the other way, this way. And so what was left of the quilt was kind of these, just a smaller section. Now I would kind of probably plan it out better, and when I know the size of the quilt, and then you can adjust the size of the design, but I wasn't thinking about that when I started. I was just eager to start. So what I did, I just turned it, and so the sections on the end here are going this way. So you'll see there is an end here where the design starts. And, you know, I didn't really think it mattered, not to me, for a test quilt like that. Obviously, if you could connect it to a seam, that would be ideal. But I finished it all the way, and then just added a little stitches on edges where I felt like it wasn't going all the way to the end. So I'd say it's a success, and I love the kind of the idea of it, and I can see myself doing more with it, especially kind of smaller quilts if I want something unique. And I've since then been looking for more patterns, and one website is awesome. It's Scissor Tail Stitches. It's a part of the OESD company, and they've got some great options by Amanda Murphy and then by Urban Elements. So really kind of cool things that I want to look at and start playing with. So I'll keep you posted. I'll probably get better. I've never, of course, taken a class on this, so maybe I should. But it's fun to play, and it's kind of good. I could have that going on, and then I was piecing something on the other side actually, and then or cutting some fabric out, and then I had that going on, and then we'll just go over there and move the frame around, get it going again, and cut some more fabric. So if you're working on something else, it's kind of cool to have it going, you know, be kind of multitasking a little bit. So I wanted to see if you had any questions on how long did it take me? So I did it in, it did it in 2 sections. But a single line stitch takes very short time. It doesn't take long when you're doing quilting like that. You know, embroidery, when they're going back and forth, you're changing colors and all that, that can take time. But this really doesn't take that long. So the crib size Hope, which is a larger crib size, I would say you could get that done once you kind of know what you're doing in probably an hour. I think so. You know, the hardest part is kind of lining, you know, getting it back in the hoop. So one thing I ordered it already. So I just use my largest embroidery hoop. And when you have batting and backing and then the quilt, it's a lot to get in the hoop. And so that was sometimes the biggest struggle, is getting it in the hoop. But they have magnetic hoops too. So I ordered myself a magnetic hoop, which is great for quilting because it just the magnets kind of stick it together. So I'm excited to try that, and that will kind of change everything.
How did your embroidery machine tie off the thread knots on the back of the quilt?
So that's a good question. How did the embroidery machine tie off the knot? So it does stitch back and forth, so it does do the tie off, and so I could just trim that flush on the back, and I'm not worried about it. I saw a tutorial, somebody that pulls them to the front and kind of sews them in. For me, if you tie it off that way, I'm not worried about it unraveling, especially for quilts that are just gonna, you know, probably be a donation or something like that. So I wouldn't worry about it too much. Was it difficult to line everything up? So my machine has the projector, so it projects your lines. So I could use that projector and kind of move the design around until it connected. So you could pretty much line it up exactly where it landed. So it was really slick once I figured out how to do that. But yeah, so that, I don't know if all embroidery machines have that, but they would at least probably have where the needle goes down, so you could probably line it up fairly easy. I would recommend a pattern though, if you're doing a pattern that is not too regular. So if you have like a really regular pattern, like circles that are next to each other, to line that back up would be hard. So I chose a pattern that's fairly irregular, so you don't see the pattern repeating, so then if you're a little bit off, it's like really noticeable. So
What was the name of the machine you quilted on?
the name of my machine is a Baby Lock Solaris. So it's kind of one of their biggest, the biggest throat, and has a really big frame. I believe it's a 13 by 10 inch embroidery frame, somewhere around there. And so, yeah, Baby Lock Solaris. I absolutely love that machine. Falling more and more in love with it the more I sew and quilt on it.
You enjoy doing the quilting this way?
You know, I like the idea because I normally, of course, don't do a lot of my quilting. My bigger quilts go to the long arm quilters. Now, the ones that I do may be smaller things, so, and like maybe table runners or toppers or things like that. So I like the idea of being able to do that myself and play with it and maybe do some cool things. Also, like with my Quilt As You Go patterns and projects, sometimes there's, you know, bigger spaces where you need to do a little lines or something in it. And I kind of thought, okay, that'd be cool to stitch out something really cool into those spaces when you're working with a Quilt As You Go project. So you would piece it, so it's then already basted and everything, and then you could add some kind of enhancement with the embroidery machine. Okay, any questions? Okay, so lots of folks talking about, so how many of you have embroidery machines? It would be fun to know, and if you have tried this or not, or do that a lot. I heard somebody did their whole Elvira like that, so that's awesome. So there's definitely one thing you want is a bigger table. So when you have your embroidery machine and the hoop and everything, you want a bigger table when you have big quilt for it to rest on, because it's a lot of pull. So if it's pulling down on all sides, that's probably not going to be great. But so if you can lay flat somewhere, and I kind of rolled it up, so then that worked fine. All right, so I think I'm watching the getting the wrong questions. I think I'm watching the wrong feed on my phone. I'm watching last week's show. Sherry says she loves Amelie Scott's patterns, been doing in the hoop for about 9 to 10 years. That's great. Well, this is my first and not my last, so that's awesome. So definitely we'll be playing with that. And if you love Amelie Scott, you should check out some of the scissor tail stitches. They're really, really cool things. And I wanted some more modern, maybe cooler, more geometric things. So they've got a lot of that. So I'm excited to see that. Okay, Jolene says she just took a virtual class on that, so she's excited to try. That's awesome. Well, that's great. I love this kind of possibility of doing things like that. Now, I did a test Zoom lecture last night, so we wanted to test the whole process and troubleshoot it and make sure that everything went smoothly. And thank you all that participated in our little test. How we're gonna do our Zoom lectures is we start off with a live, and then the main body of the lecture is a pre-recorded video, but we wanted that because working live on Zoom can can be very troublesome if you're trying to use multiple cameras. So it works much better if the video is pre-recorded, so we can just switch to a screen share during that, and then we can have multiple camera angles and stuff. And then we switch back and do a live Q&A in the end. So everything worked out great. We played a video, an old video that is actually on YouTube. You may have seen it. It's a video that I did shortly after the first stripology ruler came out, and it's of me making the Nina pattern from start to finish. I wanted to kind of be able to prove to people how much time is saved using the ruler. So I timed every section of making the pattern, starting with taking 21 fat quarters and cutting them into 2.5-inch strips. And I was able to do that in 7 minutes. And then with making the Nina pattern, you make strip sets and you subcut them because it's a kind of a 9-patch, play on a 9-patch. And so all of my subcutting was done in 10 or 12 minutes. So all of the cutting took me less than 20 minutes. And if I would have done that with a regular ruler, it would have taken me close to 3 hours. So that was really cool to see that you save like 2 to 3 hours in the whole process of making a quilt. So a lot of you that were with me last night enjoyed seeing that video. And I should tell you, the only thing that we had issue with technology-wise last night was the video was a little sticky. And we, right after the show, Mr. Honey Producer started playing with it and fiddling with it. And I think we've gotten around that problem. So that's exciting. So we can hopefully start rolling out some lectures as early as this month. So stay tuned for that. But everybody, a lot of folks hadn't seen that video and hadn't kind of noticed this pattern. It's a really fun, simple pattern done with fat quarters and has a cool kind of a look. And so I thought I'd show you just the last minute or two of that video when I have the blocks finished and I'm putting them up on my design wall. So we had some fun music going on in that video. This was one of our first videos. So our I should say camera game is much better, our resolution game is much better, and I want to say our music game is better now. But check this out. So I think this is cool. Now I just got to sew them together, and I sew them together in horizontal rows, and then the rows together. So we'll see how long that takes me, and I'll meet you back when I'm all done. All right, I got my whole quilt top pieced and done, and let's check the time. A little bit over 5 hours. I think that's pretty great for a quilt this size. It's 54 by 72, the Nina quilt. And I tell you that the main reason for it taking such a short time is the stripology ruler. All the cutting that I did, all the fat quarters were cut in 7 minutes, and then all of my subcutting was done in 10 minutes, which probably saved me at least an hour. So I hope you try it out. Check out the pattern and the ruler to really save you some time. All I gotta do now is take this to my long arm quilter. I've got some cuddly Minky to put on the back, and then this quilt will be perfect for our next movie night. Well, I hope you enjoyed that little tidbit. It's always my favorite part of the whole, quilt making process is putting the blocks up on the design wall before putting it all together. So I thought, let me show you my favorite part of the whole process is putting it all up. One question I got last night about it was somebody asked, do you always just put the blocks up, first time and it just works out and you pretty much sew it together that way? because they are so used to playing with it for days before they're happy with the layout. So I normally don't mess with it a whole lot. I'm kind of pretty strategic as I'm putting it up on the design wall. So I will kind of start trying to always mix patterns and make sure that the same pattern is not touching anywhere. And if it's a prominent pattern, to make sure I put one here and somewhere way in the distance. So I'm already thinking that way as I'm putting them up for the first time. Now when it's done, of course, I take photos and check and move a few things around, but normally not a whole lot. And so when I have blocks that have, or working with, for example, pre-cuts, we talked about this last night. If you have a pre-cut that is not very balanced, so you have maybe 10 greens and only 5 reds and then 4 something else, I kind of stack them in stacks of by color. So I know I need to put, you know, when I put 2 green blocks, I need to put 1 red and kind of mix things up like that. So I make a mental note that way. So just a little insight in how I put stuff up on the design wall. But any questions on that? So you can find this full Nina video if you want to watch the whole thing. It's on the website. And now, of course, Mr. Honey Producer wants to re-edit it and make it better. We'll see. This was 5 years ago, so it was awesome. Okay, so somebody's asking what fabric was used in Taylor. Okay, in the Taylor that's hanging behind me, that is... that one is Juniper by Moda. That's coming into stores now just shortly. Okay. Love the quilt behind you. Do you have a YouTube on it yet? So this is Taylor. Nope, I don't have YouTube on Taylor. The one on the ladder is Hope. So there is videos on, of course, from our Sew Along on Hope. Okay, any other questions? Looking for a quick and easy quilt, and yes, Nina would be a quick and easy one. Okay, any questions on Facebook? I think I had the wrong one pulled up. Oh, there we are. When are the new patterns shipping? Oh, that was what I was going to tell you next time. They are here. They just arrived this morning, and so we are bagging them as we speak. And we'll be going out to you Monday morning. So we'll start printing out all the labels and prepping everything for the postman to pick it up on Mondays. But they turned out beautiful. So I can show you over here how the Venus one is one of the larger ones. So because they're all on one piece of paper, so you open them up, and then you will have it like this. So you can open it up all the way. And you have the layouts on the other side. So here you can see the other layouts for Venus. So here's the original. Here is what I call layout 1, which is not on the cover. This is the cover, is layout 3. That's layout 1, and then layout 4, and layout 2 is actually here. So it's so much fun to work with this block. You can come up with much more layouts than that. And then Taylor is just a 1 sheet. Like that. So I'm excited for you to get them. Those of you have been waiting for the actual paper pattern, so they will be going out. And I've got some news on fabric that's coming in. We have a lot coming. I don't have anything new to show you. A couple of things that you probably have seen before, but we have a lot on the way. Coming in tomorrow and Monday and Tuesday. So Heartland Holiday sold out instantly last week. We have way more coming, both the bundles, the panel, and that 1 yard print. We have more of black and white and red hot coming, Dragonfly Garden also coming, and then we have Prismachrome and Stratosphere all coming back. And we started this new feature on the website. So these are all listed. There is like a sold out sticker across it. But if you click on the product anyway, there is a box there where you can put in your email and sign up to be notified when it's back in stock. And I encourage you, if you want any of those bundles that we have that we're restocking, make sure you sign up for one of those, because we don't necessarily wait for a Tipsy Tuesday to list them. So once they come in, once they're cut and ready, it gets updated on the website. So if you're really interested in catching one of these, make sure you do that. We also have a lot of the peppered cottons coming. So restocking all of those. I know those that wanted to make the Lucy quilt with the charcoal peppered cottons or any other peppered cottons, we have a lot more of that coming. And also chartreuse fabrics. So we will be restocking the chartreuse bundles. We have the charms actually already came, the Tahoe Ski Week charm packs. This is the fabric line that I used for the other tailor quilt. The one, it's shown on the back side of the pattern, but that's the one was kind of like these turquoise and browns. And so that is all coming. We have more of the charm packs, but the bundles are on the way. So we will have the bundles probably, hopefully, by Tuesday. So make sure you check in on Tipsy Tuesday. Now with new bundles, we wait and we don't list them until I show them on the show. We're going to kind of keep that tradition. And a lot of people were asking for more of the Shimo layer cakes and charm packs. They sold out really fast too. And no chance to find any more, unfortunately. However, I was able to get some yardage. So we're going to make Shimo bundles. And so that's coming, and we'll launch that on Tuesday as well. Now, other stuff that is coming, and I wanted to show you, so the Tahoe Ski Week, if you wanted to see bigger pieces, I found some leftovers from my quilt, if you wanted to see the prints in a bigger scale. So I just love these. So these are some of the browns, and then we have the blues. I just love these. So they're wintry, but not really Christmassy. So we got the gloves hanging on the clothesline. Love that. Some of the plaids, more plaids, and then the skis. I love this print. And then, of course, the skiers going down the hill. So really fun fabric and different. Just kind of cool because it's just different. So I love that. So the skis kind of work as a stripe. So a directional stripe. So very cool, and it's fun. Even though there's quite a few directional prints in the line, you can so easily turn the blocks and cut it for the tailor quilt and turn them however you want to make sure that all your directionals line up the right way. So the other line that is coming, I know we have charm packs and layer cakes coming, is another Christmas line from Moda called Naughty or Nice. I showed you a sneak peek of a quilt that I made with this that's going in the new book. So we are getting this in. I just saw a shipping notification, so that's coming. Excited for that. We have more coming from Andover and from Northcott. Some new stuff, and I'm excited. I'm excited for you to see a lot of it. And then we have more from Free Spirit coming as well.
What about the sheep? Can you pre-order that?
The sheep, the flannel, no, that's not until July. So we're still working on trying to set up some kind of a pre-order system, and been looking at different additions to the website. They have pros and cons, and we want to make it an easy process for us for pre-orders so we can sort them easily and they don't get in the way of regular orders. And so we're just trying to figure it all out. Also, payment captures is hard because it's all automated on the website, so it would have to be a payment in full, but finding a way to give you some kind of benefit to pre-order some of these fun fabrics that are coming. So we're working on that, and hopefully we'll have that rolling out here soon. And we're going to have some cool things rolling out for shipping as well, like I mentioned. Oh, Harvest Moon is coming back. Yeah, Harvest Moon is on the way. I forgot to talk about that. Harvest Moon, and there was something else that I don't remember. Yeah, Harvest Moon and Prismachrome were coming together. That was that. So both a panel for Harvest Moon and the bundle. So it's exciting, you know, and I've been up in all of my fabric orders, so we're getting, oh, yes, and the kits for the Strippy Forest, we're getting more. Already on the way, so we'll relist that. So if you are interested in one of those kits, make sure you sign up for being notified for that.
Where'd you find the magnetic hoops?
Where did I find the magnetic hoops? I ordered it online because I think they're generic to many So there, you just order and you have to know which kind of machine you have. I'm not sure where I got it. Maybe on embroidery.com or I don't remember. Sorry. I think Amelie Scott has that as well. So I may have gotten it there. I'm a fast shopper. I just go, I see what I like, put it in the cart, pay, and then I don't remember where that was. I saw something. But
More Halloween.
am I getting more Halloween? I'm getting the Harvest Moon for sure. I am getting more Halloween. I know there is a Moda line. Remember the Moda line that I used for my Elvira quilt? That line is coming as a bundle too. So, and I think one more Halloween line, kind of down the hatch somewhere.
You posting your cocktail recipe in a specific area?
So cocktail recipe I just showed you on the screen earlier, but I will post that photo in the crew. So I will just post it, and then you can easily see it. It's so fresh and delicious. It's kind of when you're thirsty. When I'm thirsty, you know, on vacation and stuff, or if it's hot outside, a mojito is so refreshing. That mint just kind of really quenches your thirst. The rum doesn't hurt either. All right. Any other questions? We're going to get our live winner. We have a live winner. We've decided that our Happy Friday shows, we're just going to have a live winner every time.
Ready?
So not a question. Yes, I'm ready. Kim Egan is our winner. Yay! You get a $25 gift card. Make sure you message us either through Facebook or send us an email, gudrun@gequiltdesigns.com. And we will get that. One thing I wanted to mention, if you have any kind of customer service questions about if something is getting restocked, make sure to email me. I don't see posts very often in the crew because they scroll down so fast, and you know, Facebook decides what we see, and we can't just go get the chronological order of things. So it's always better to just email me directly or message us through Facebook. So that is that. Could we check in back on Facebook if you have any more questions there? I'm still on the wrong video, so I don't even know where I am right now. See, it's so hard to find stuff on Facebook sometimes. I thought I was in the right video, and I was looking at last week's.
What is the Northcott line? I love Northcott.
Northcott. We have a few things coming from Northcott. I, of course, do not remember names of lines, but I know we have like 3 different bundles and a lot of individual patterns. I'm stocking a lot of one line of their basics, so that'll come into our 1 yards. It's a great texture, so I think that'd be a great addition to our 1 yards. And yeah, so we have a lot on the way, and now we're already into June, so some of the June lines, like for example, Tahoe Ski Week was a May line, and we're just getting it now, so it's all fabric shipments are about 2 to 3 weeks later than we thought, sometimes over. So it's, you never know, if it picks back up, we might be getting some of the June lines faster as well. Will my new book have full color instructions? Yes, all of my newest books, so Stripology Squared, Quilts of Iceland, and Mixology, they're all full color throughout. So yes, the new book will definitely be full color throughout.
Someone loves your shirt.
So, oh, it's a new one. Oh, and see, this is sticking out. Don't you hate those things? This is the first thing I usually cut out. So it's brand new, obviously, but it's really comfortable. It's kind of stretchy and light. Oh, this is a live TV moment. He's laughing at me.
I just got to notice that.
You did notice that, huh? Okay, well, this will be cut off. I have a rotary cutter, but maybe that's not a good idea. I don't have scissors. Oh, I do have scissors. Maybe I'll just cut it off live. How about that? There it is. This is usually the first thing I cut off because I never use it to hang my clothes. Do you? Does anybody? And then always when you wear stuff, it starts hanging out every single time. What's the name of the new book? Unconfirmed name, so AKA the working name, is Stripology Mixology 2. It will be the same concept as Mixology, where I'm working with all the different pre-cuts, 5 and 10 inch squares, 1.5 and 2.5 inch strips. So that's the working name. If I come up with something different, it may change. I'm just telling you. But that's the working name. And I have another quilt top finished. I'm waiting for fabric for borders. I thought I would show you a sneak peek, but it's still hanging on my design wall. So I can't get over there. Sorry, guys. I have to show you next week. You might get a double sneak peek next week if you wait. So, sorry. But this one is so awesome. It's so awesome. I cannot wait for you to see it.
Is the new book going to be spiral?
Is the new book going to be spiral bound? That's something I'm definitely looking into. The one thing that I don't like with the spiral bound is when you put it on a bookshelf and that spiral is showing, and I've heard that both libraries and bookstores don't like it. But there's a way to have the cover go around the spiral, and so I'm looking into different ways of doing that, and I know that it's a lot more expensive than having it just spiral bound, so but I'm going to look into it. And especially if people love it, then I think having a book spiral bound at an office place is like $5, so I could always take that cost on into the book if people really, really like that idea.
Will it have cocktails?
Will it have cocktails? If it's going to be mixology, yes, of course. Have to.
What's the table runner behind?
The table runner behind me is Little Nelly. So I just thought I'd pull this one up, very kind of springy and fresh. I have to tell you though, we've been consistent with weekly shows since March, and it's very exciting, and it's great for me, and it's great to check in, and I feel like, I just did a little interview with a magazine, and they were asking me, do you really miss, what do you miss from being on the road? And of course, I miss the people and being in front of people and the back and forth. But I feel like I'm getting a lot of it from my shows, because even though I don't see you, I feel like I have a connection because the questions and kind of back and forth. And I hope you are getting that too. So that's really exciting. However, we are going to take a little break because we are going to actually leave this house. We're actually going to leave this house. I have to go see my grandson. And so we're not going to fly because we don't want to fly. So we're going to drive, and we're going to have an RV. Mr. Honey Producer's biggest dream is to drive a big rig. So we're going to hop in an RV and drive to Oregon. Yes, that's going to happen in July, so I'm just giving you a heads up. There will be maybe a couple of Tipsy Tuesdays that won't happen. Possibly the Friday we'll have a check-in. We'll have live from wherever we are, and it'll be different, but I'm so excited to see that little nugget, and I'm just going to smooch him to pieces. It's overdrive, and so I'm excited.
Where can I get labels made with my name on it?
Where can I get labels, quilt labels with my name on it? I order mine through spoonflower.com. So you can just you upload whatever you want, and they print it on. You can order as little as a fat quarter. They are really, really backed up. So I'm hoping that my Hope labels that I ordered should be arriving sometime towards the end of the month, they said. So that's been 6 weeks. So it's a while, but they do a really good job. Really good job.
They say you deserve a break.
I deserve a break. Thank you. We appreciate it. I know you're all on board with that.
Take your featherweight along.
Somebody said take your featherweight along. Of course, the reason for the RV is that I can just be in the back sewing. That's the biggest thing about it. And so I was all for it when that idea came up. And not necessarily about driving for 2 or 3 days, but the fact that I could just be sewing or, working on stuff while we drive. Because he actually likes driving. He does. So that's great. So I will definitely be sewing. I will have a sewing machine, whether it's my featherweight or maybe possibly just my 301, because it's not that much bigger than the featherweight, and it sews fast. All right, any other questions? Is that it for us today? Well, I have another little snippet of information that you will find out more about on Tuesday. I am going to do another sew along. It's actually going to be different than before. Different everything. So I will announce that information this coming Tuesday. So you don't want to miss Tipsy Tuesday. All right. And it's going to be on June 16th, 7 p.m. Central Time. Okay. And of course, showing you whatever new fabrics came in. And then, of course, this coming Friday, I'll be here too at 3 p.m. Central. And of course, with a cocktail in hand. Who knows what it'll be then. Something fresh and fun. But that's it for us today. We're going to maybe get out on the motorcycle, right? Yeah, sun is shining. Beautiful day. So cheers, everybody. I hope you're having a great day and have a great weekend.